Hi, this is Kathy from the blog simplystlouis.us, and today I wanted to take you to one of my favorite places in the house, the garden. Or should I say, one of my favorite places outside the house. Stay tuned. So when it comes to gardening, a lot of you may be hesitant or reluctant. Maybe you feel like you don't have the time. Maybe instead of a green thumb, you feel like you have a black thumb. But why I wanted to share with you why I like gardening so much and maybe encourage you to start gardening, even if it's something small or just have a potted plant, is because it shifts your focus away from things that's happening out there, and it helps you to focus on what's in front of you. For instance, you may have a long day at work. It may be stressful, but when you come home and after you do everything you need to do, you just get to go outside and you can see what has grown in your garden. You get to get a crop from it, harvest, and you get to share that harvest with whomever you like. For me, why I like gardening is because it takes me away from all the distraction and the noise that's going on out there, and I get to focus in on what is beautiful to me, what is lovely to look at. So if you're curious about starting a garden, I wanted to share with you some tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years, and hopefully you can apply it to your journey with gardening. The first tip I wanted to share with you is build your own raised beds. Yes, you can do this, and you could even do it for free. When I was in grad school, I wanted to garden, and I asked my landlord if I can use a little bit of his land to grow some vegetables. Well, you know what I had to do? I had to till the grass. I had to take some soil and get it out to be sampled to make sure that the soil was right. Then after finding out it wasn't right, I had to treat that soil, water the ground, and it was just a process that I did not want to go through again. So I found out about making raised beds. You can make these with pressure treated wood, and it's quite easy to assemble. You just assemble it in a box or a square, and you add some screws in there, and you're done. What I did when I made my raised beds, once we got our pressure treated wood, I put some free cardboard and newspaper that I would just collect when I got shipments in, and then I would gather some free soil. What's free soil? Composted cow manure, composted horse manure, or there's some areas that have some composted wood chips, and you just bring your own container, gather those, and put them in your raised bed, no cost to you. Now, of course, you want to make sure that these composted materials are gathered and treated sustainably. And you can also go to your big box stores and grab some soil, but I really like these resources because they are available, they are accessible to where you live. I live in the city, but it takes me a 20-minute drive to go out in the country, so to speak, to get these items. So it's not that bad at all. Now, tip number 2 is mulch. Now, I live in a very sunny area. I'm in Florida, and you don't just want to have soil, but you also want to have mulch. Mulch is very inexpensive, but not only that, you can get leaves for mulch. You can use straw, hay, and again, those things can be for free depending on where you live or if you have access to them. Why mulch is so important when it comes to gardening is because you don't have to water so much. I had to water like every day when it came to gardening, but I learned later on, make sure to have mulch in hand to put in your beds so you don't have to water as often and as frequently. Get you a composter. Now you could pile this up in the corner of your yard. I build mine from pallets. You can have a worm bin, but make sure you have an area to compost because that's another free resources for soil. Whenever you have some dead leaves, some food scraps, just put them in the compost bin, let them decompose, and they turn into rich nutrient soil. Another tip that may be helpful to you is whenever you're finished eating that fruit or vegetable, save the seeds. Save the seeds. Those seeds you can either put directly into the ground and let your plants grow, Or you can put them into your warm bin, which I have done before, and they will grow from my warm bin, and I would gather the little seedling or the plantling, so to speak, and I will transfer them into a pot and let it grow a little bit more before I place it in the garden. So saving those seeds are a good thing to do. So I don't want you to forget to support your local nurseries. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting plants from the big box stores, but let's face it, some of them could be pretty pricey. When you go to your local nurseries, they're usually at a very good price, and they usually have plants that are native or can work with your current climate. So local nurseries, they're very helpful, the plants are not as expensive, and those plants should grow in the climate that you're in. Another thing you can do to obtain some of these plants for free is joining a gardening co-op. Now, in these co-ops, you can exchange seeds, you can exchange plants, usually for free, if not free, very little cost. And the people that you are exchanging the plants and the seeds with are avid gardeners. They have plants that should be able to grow in the climate that you're in, and they are full of information of how to grow a particular thing. If you have a question, they will be so happy to answer it for you. So if you have the time, which they usually have these co-ops on the weekends anyways, maybe it's something you can look into. But joining a co-op is a great opportunity not only to get free plants, but also to meet some amazing people. So comment below, let me know, is gardening something that you want to do or you want to try it out? Maybe you grew up gardening, maybe your grandparents or your parents had a farm or they had a garden in their backyard and you're interested in starting one yourself. So comment below, let me know how you feel about gardening, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Until next time, live simply so you can simply live.